Alright guys, what's up? Mr. T back here again. Let's hop into it quick because I have another long chapter for you. We are on chapter 5 of Stranded. I got my nice bookmark still. Pretty sweet. Remember that Joe and Dexter were in the lifeboat and it went away, and now the kids are all huddled together trying to get some warmth as the boat just crashed on some rocks. Okay? Let's get into it. Carter blinked awake. At first, nothing made sense. The clean white deck, the bright sunlight, the soft sound of the ocean. He blinked again, several times, and then remembered where he was. With Jane, Buzz, and Vanessa were all right there, still asleep on the stairs. The galley down below was a total wreck, but outside it was clear, blue sky day. Even that seemed strange. Carter eased his arm from around Jane to crawl up onto the deck and look around. The whole ribcage sent up a sharp wave of pain as he did from the crash, he remembered. It was all coming back in pieces. When he lifted up his damp t-shirt, the bruises on his chest and midsection made him look like he had a couple rounds with a heavyweight champion. But he was alive, anyway. They all were. The whole crash seemed like some kind of bad dream now. Up on the deck, the first thing he saw was the high cliff wall they'd crashed into in the dark. The bow of the boat looked as if it had been chewed right off, leaving the rest of the Lucky Star wedged in among the rocks at a shallow angle. It was tricky keeping his footing, but not impossible. Off to the right, Carter saw there was some craggy shoreline continued off for 100 yards or more before it curved away and out of sight. To the left, down a short drop from the rocky shelf where they landed, was a long stretch of sandy beach, where there were palm trees everywhere. The small crabs skittered around the water's edge. It looked to Carter like somewhere he might want to go on vacation, but if he were sitting at home and seeing it on a TV. But I'm not, he thought. I am so not watching TV. Then, with a sudden flash of memory, Dexter and Joe came to mind. Carter whipped around to look out at the ocean, instinctively scanning for a flash of orange life raft. He checked the beach again, too, and even looked toward the woods that grew beyond the line of the palms higher up on the shore. There was no sign of them anywhere. "Hello!" he shouted. "Dex! Joe! Anyone?" The only answer that came was from the three that had started to stir up in the galley stairs. "Carter!" Vanessa called out. "What?" Buzz soaked. "Where are we?" Jane looked up from where she was, wide-eyed and silent. Slowly the three of them came up onto the deck. They stayed low at first, as if the boat might start moving again without warning, but in fact, at least 30 yards of rock separated them from the ocean now. The storm's tide had turned around sometime in the night, leaving the Lucky Star high and dry. Nobody said anything at first. Jane came up closer to Carter. Buzz sat down and cross-legged on the deck, looking stunned. "Where are we?" he said. "Good question," Carter asked. After another long silence, Jane spoke up next. "Do you think anyone got that SOS?" she asked, about looking at Vanessa. "I don't know." "Probably," Vanessa asked. "Maybe." "Can we try and send it again?" Jane asked. Major duh, Carter thought. That should have been the first thing they thought of. Leave it to Jane. She was the smartest 9-year-old he knew. Vanessa seemed to agree. Without a word, she'd already turned and run down the galley steps. Everyone else followed closely behind. Down below, the boat's main cabin looked to Buzz like a disaster area. All the water had drained out by now, but the floor was covered with bloated books, sea charts, cushions, clothing, pots and pans, utensils, and even a few framed maps from the wall had shattered or missing glass. They reminded him of one of those TV shows where the bad guy came in and come in and trash the good guy's apartment while they were looking for something. Already, Vanessa had picked her way over to the navigation station where she was fiddling with several knobs and dials. She was good with computers at home, and she'd spent more time on the boat with all the stuff than the rest of them had. If anyone could figure out how to use the radio, it would be her. While they all watched silently, she picked up a handheld transmitter that dangled off the console. It was the same one that Joe had used to send an SOS the night before. "Hello?" Vanessa said to the transmitter. "Can anyone hear me? Hello?" Buzz's heart thudded in his chest, waiting for something, a voice, or even just static. Vanessa flipped several more switches, but it was no good. The radio was clearly dead. "There's no power," she said. "Buzz, check the engine. Carter, do you know how to try and start it?" "For sure," Carter said, ducking into the aft cabin and through the companionway door to the cockpit. Buzz went into the engine compartment and opened it up. He looked in here only once before, and it had been mostly dark. Now light flooded in where a long jagged hole had been torn through the hole from the outside. It didn't take an expert to see how badly smashed the engine was. For all he knew, half of it had fallen through the hole. "Is anything happening?" Carter yelled down there. "Nothing," Vanessa called. "Are you sure you know how to start it up?" "Yes, I'm sure," Carter snapped. Guys, it's not going to happen," Buzz said, pointing into the compartment. Vanessa came back to look, and Carter did too, as he climbed back down to join them. The only thing that seemed to be intact was the electrical bank. It looked like 6 car batteries lined up on the shelf at the side of the compartment. Whether they were still hooked up with the rest of the boat, it was hard to say. Even if they were, Dexter had explained on the first day that there were only 2 ways to charge those batteries. One was by running the engine. The other was through the boat's solar panels, which had been face down on the deck, where they had been ripped free from the mounting during the crash. What about the laptop?" Jane asked, picking up from the mess on the floor. As she did, water drizzling out over the ports and even through the keyboard. She tried the on-off switch again, but nothing happened. "You wouldn't be able to get online even if it was working," Vanessa said. Not without the modem, and that takes electricity. My cell's around here somewhere too, but I haven't gotten a single signal since we left Hawaii. What we really need is..." She stopped then, and her hand went over her mouth for the first time. Vanessa looks excited. "What is it?" Buzz asked. "A satellite phone," she said. "The what?" "The satellite phone. I can't believe I didn't think of it before. If it's charged, we could... Oh my gosh. We could make a call." "Well, where is it?" Carter said. "I don't know," Vanessa said. But it's got to be here somewhere. Everyone, start looking." Vanessa racked her mind, trying to remember where it was exactly. She'd been when she was trying to remember when she last had used the phone. Not that it even mattered. After the crash, it could go through the way it could have wound up anywhere. "Go through everything," she told the others. "Watch out for glass, though. It's got to be here somewhere." Soon they were all picking through the mess and piling it up, piece by piece, on the table, the galley counter, and anywhere else they could. It was agonizingly slow going, with so much to sort through. But then, "Here it is," Jane shouted. She poked her head out through the galley table and held up the chunky black plastic phone. The antenna was up. Vanessa saw, and the small screen above the keypad was lit. "It's still on," she said, pressing her ear against it. "Hello, hello?" Nobody was there, which wasn't a surprise. It had been at least 10 hours since the crash. The question was, how long did these things take to hold their charge? When she looked at the display again, the green and black battery indicator was down to a single bar, but that could be enough. "Who should we call?" Jane said. Vanessa didn't have to think about it. She turned the unit off, then on again, and hit the redial button, just like she was using a regular phone at home. A few seconds later, it started to ring. "Please answer, please answer, please answer, please answer." "Wait," Buzz said suddenly. "Shouldn't we try to figure out where we are first so we can call them?" The truth of it hit Vanessa like cold water in the face. Of course, that made more sense. But then, all at once, Beth Benson was there on the phone. "Hello?" she said frantically. "Dexter, is that you?" "Beth, it's Vanessa," she said. All 3 of the others crowded around, pressing their ears as close as they could. "Vanessa, thank goodness. Is everyone okay?" "No," Vanessa said. "We're not okay. We crashed. Beth, is my dad with you?" "Mom," Jane called out. "Jane, is that you?" "We're all here," Vanessa told her. "The 4 of us, anyway." Beth's voice went up a step. "Where's Dexter?" she said. "Where's Joe?" "We don't know," Vanessa said. She heard her own voice crack as she said it, and took a deep breath. It wasn't going to help anyone if she lost it right now. They were trying to help us into the life raft, and it got pulled away before we could get in. Now we aren't sure where they are. "Vanessa, you're going to be okay," Beth said. "Your dad and I are at the Coast Guard station in Kona. They've been trying to reach the boat all night. I'm I'm going to put you on the phone with the people who are going to come help you. Just hold on. A moment later, an unfamiliar man's voice came on the line. Hi, Vanessa. My name is Commander Carl Blakely. I want you to listen carefully, okay? There were other voices in the background, too. They were on speakerphone now, and people were listening. Vanessa imagined a room full of people that were standing there. Somewhere that only made her more nervous. Okay, she said, but I don't know how long this phone is going to stay charged. There's only 1 bar left. Then let's get right to it, the man said. Vanessa had already forgotten his name. Where are you on the boat right now? At the navigation station, Vanessa told him. There should be a GPS unit either up in the cockpit or right there at the navigation station, the commander said. It looks like a small TV mounted on the wall, or it could be a handheld unit. Do you know what I'm talking about? I think so, Vanessa said. She remembered Joe saying something about the global positioning system on the boat, but right now she couldn't come up with a picture of it in her mind, and she didn't see anything that looked like a little TV as she scanned the console. I'm looking, she said, but I'm not sure. Could they have taken it into the life raft with them? That's possible, the commander said. We never received an SOS or distress call, so it's hard to track your location. Softly, the phone beeped twice in Vanessa's ear. When she pulled it away, the battery charge indicator was starting to flash. I think the phone's about to run out, she said. The commander's voice stayed calm, but he spoke more quickly. How about this, Vanessa? Can you tell me anything about where you are, even just approximately? Find the charts, Vanessa whispered to the others. All 3 of them started rooting through the piles they'd just made, pulling out whatever they could and spreading them on the table. Is there anything you can remember about your location before the storm? The commander asked her again. Not really, I'm sorry, Vanessa said. There were 3 different charts in front of her now, and they looked all alike, with their circles, grids, and tiny numbers. I'm looking, but I can't tell you where we are. Then Jane spoke up. Boomerang Day, she said, as if it had just come to her. That's right, Vanessa said. Right. We were just about to come around and head back to Hawaii. That means we were, she squeezed her eyes shut, trying to remember, 900 miles off Kona. That's how far we were going. Except then he started changing course when the weather got bad. Your uncle did? The commander asked. Yes, Vanessa said. 3 times, I think. Or maybe 4. We were supposed to. Again, the phone beeped twice. It's going to run out, Vanessa said. Keep going, the commander said. You were supposed to do what, Vanessa? We were supposed to get back on course this morning. I know it. I know that. Which direction? Which way did Dexter alter his course? Can you tell me? I don't know, Vanessa said. The tears were starting to come. She couldn't help it. Okay, the commander said. Okay, just hold on 1 second. I don't know if I have a second, Vanessa told him. And then, sure enough, she didn't. There was no last beep, no click, no anything. The line just went dead. Hello? She said. Hello? Please? Are you there? But it was no good. The display on the phone had gone blank, and the people on the other end of the line, including their parents, were gone. All Vanessa could hear now was the wind outside and the sounds of the waves breaking softly in the distance. All right, that was Chapter 5 of Stranded, and I'm almost out of time again. Jeez, these chapters take a long time. So get out your portfolio. You should have your first 3 pages filled out like this, like Mr. T does here. And then you're just going to go ahead and flip the right one over, and you can go ahead and write Chapter 5 right at the top. Go ahead and give me about a 3-sentence recap of what happened in the chapter. Okay, and then make it, I think for the picture you should probably draw somebody talking on the phone. That'd be a good idea. All right, so go ahead and do that. And then let's see if I can get one more division problem for you guys. Let's try this one out, guys. Show your family how you know how to do that. 615 divided by 5. You can do it. Okay? I'll try to go over next time. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy.